2004.
So good evening, Huddle. Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Thanks for being here. Come on, I need to feel some energy in the room. Happy Huddle Monday, everyone. Good evening. So we are always excited when we're on the ground here at National Action Network in the heart of Harlem. Another Huddle Monday. So many things are going on, but we are here, right here in the heart of Harlem. We want to welcome you to our Huddle today, where we set the tone as to why we huddle up for change and why we must continue to unite, to speak up and be the change that we wish to see in our own communities and all over this nation. We help to unite dreamers to develop, lead, and empower. And that's what Huddle stands for. If you didn't know, now you know. So we are always excited to start our program out by talking to God. So we've asked one of our huddlers to come up, and her name is Monique Hill. She's going to open us with a word of prayer. Please welcome Monique Hill, everyone.
Hello, Nan. We're going to start a prayer just saying, Father God, we ask you for a special prayer for Nan Cool, Dr. Malcolm Bird, and the family of our late Nan, EVP, Attorney Hardy, and the members who are sick and shut-in. We pray for our young people across the nation, away from home on college campuses, and those who are ill or recovering, and those impacted by war and famine, those in jail, prison, and please pray against spiritual and earthly confusion, mental illness, gun violence, and those affected by local crime and hate crimes and financial disparities. The scripture he giveth. Father God, we come before you and just ask you to bless Huddle, to bless Dominique Ashley. We ask you to bless Patrice. We ask you to bless Sister Kathy Sharpton and everyone here who is at Nan, Sister Goldie and everyone, Mr. Gilchrist, everyone here, JT, everyone here that makes Nan as wonderful and magnificent as it is. And we thank God for our Honorable Reverend Al Sharpton and all that he does for the community and in this world. We thank you, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Sister Monique Hill, for that prayer. Our scripture this evening is coming from Isaiah 40th chapter, verses 29 through 31, the King James Version. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. We ask God to bless the reading and hearing and understanding of his holy word. I am always delighted to have our Huddle founder and director, Ashley Sharpton, come up and share with you some Huddle announcements and some Huddle action alerts. Please welcome Ashley Sharpton.
Thank you, Trees. Happy Huddle Monday, everyone. I said happy Huddle Monday, everyone. Okay, thank you. Making sure I'm not here alone. And hello to everyone online. All right, so I have a lot of information, so please bear with me. Some is from the action alerts, the weekly action alerts that you hear our VP in New York City, Dr. Alvin Ponder, read on Saturday morning during the rally, written by Nida Khan, and some I researched myself. All right, who watched the 2024 presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump? All right. All right, that is everybody in here. All right, good. All right, so the only thing I'm doing different today, and I know usually we do this during the Did You Knows, but if you have anything, 30 seconds or under, to respond into basically about anything that I talk about, even if it's an announcement, you can come up, but just make sure it's 30 seconds or less, okay? All right, so we're starting off talking about the debate. On Tuesday night, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump engaged in their first and possibly only debate for the highest office in the land. Reverend Sharpton, who ran for president himself 20 years ago, who remembers that? Oh, good job. Okay, good. All right. Provided insight before the great debate, as well as his analysis of the event afterwards on several broadcasts on MSNBC. In short, he said the vice president crushed it. Of course, National Action Network is nonpartisan, so we are not endorsing any other candidates, but we definitely want you to be on the right side of history, and we are against prejudice, hate, and bigotry. And one of those candidates underlined that, and another does not, right? All right. To hear more of Reverend Sharpton's comments on that, you can listen to his 60-minute tirade at the rally, the last rally. He talked about this, he underlined, he broke it down, built it up, then broke it down again. All right, so you can visit Nan's YouTube or Facebook and watch the rally from this past Saturday. All right, anyone want to add to give their analysis of the debate? What you liked, what you didn't like? Or we good? We can move on? Oh, we have one? You have one, okay. Treese, you want to start while we let her come up? Let's clap it up for Treese, our senior advisor.
So what I liked about the debate was I understand that was Kamala's first time meeting Donald Trump in person. So what I loved is she looked at him, put her hand out, and said, Kamala Harris. Basically, I'm introducing myself because I'm not scared of you. I love it. I'm sorry, I just love that moment.
I love that too. She kept making eye contact and he did not. He kept looking away. Great comment. Sister?
Good evening. Good evening. You can hear me?
Yes. Can we hear it?
I enjoyed the debate, and she swept him off the floor with her words, and she mopped him out the door. I mean, she's educated. That's what we have to, hello? That's what we have to do. We have to be educated. And I did like what she did. She walked over to him. And she wasn't scared of him. She don't have to be scared. She did her job in Los Angeles, where she lived. She's a black woman. She didn't have to answer that. Her father is black. We are black. That's what they call us. They call us African Americans. We are Africans and living in America. We have jobs. There's jobs out here. When it wasn't no bad thing, she did her thing. She did her work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's clap everybody up. Thank you. Reverend Sharpton emphasized the fact, as she just said, that the vice president exceeded expectations and set the tone for the debate from the beginning. She not only opposed Trump, but said what her vision for America is and how we are going to get there. This debate made clear where each candidate stands and where they want to take us. And I'll leave that as vote. All right? Next, who knows what's going on in the DEI fight nationally? You can just shout it out if you know. An update, a recent update in the fight. It's related to Arian Simone. What'd you say, JC? Oh, okay. What happened? Ernest Waters?
All of the Republicans and the rich people are trying to take it away.
Yes, that is the fact. That is the general issue with DEI, Trees.
So the Fearless Fund, the lawsuit against the Black sisters who are trying to make sure that entrepreneurs got their fair share has been dismissed.
That is right. Thank you, Trees, for keeping us in the know. That's a good thing. Let's clap that up. So the lawsuit is ended from Brother Edward Bloom, basically who is friends to who we've been basically against every week in New York. But Edward Bloom was the person who did the original basically lawsuit. And now that's over. Reverend Sharpton and National Action Network praised the dismissal of a frivolous lawsuit this week against the Fearless Fund and Fearless Foundation. The Fearless Fund works to empower black and brown women entrepreneurs, and the egregious lawsuit was nothing more than an intent to halt progress. Let's not forget that the same right-wing legal activists who brought this case against the Fearless Fund and the Fearless Foundation were the same ones who pushed the Supreme Court to gut affirmative action, said Reverend Sharpton in a statement. Diversity, equity, and what does the I stand for? All right, inclusion became a lightning rod to the radical right, with DEI becoming a dog whistle to punch down on already underserved communities. With the dismissal of this case, the immediate threat that this lawsuit posed to DEI, workplace diversity, and free speech has been subdued for now. But it's not over. But the fight to defend and promote workplace diversity will continue in boardrooms, state legislatures, universities, the White House, and beyond, end quote. And that was Reverend Al Sharpton. And you can also read his full statement at nationalactionnetwork.net. Salute to Arian Simone and to Fearless Fund and to the Fearless Foundation in their continued fight. All right. Who has ever heard of the Congressional Black Caucus? All right, good. Did anyone go to the CBC conference this past week or weekend? No? Okay. All right, so Reverend Sharpton was there, National Action Network was definitely there. Me and Dominique were there with our Zeta sisters when we spoke at the Capitol building on the Hill, but that was separate from CBC. But thank you to our Zeta sisters for having us on the Hill. We tried to represent Nan well. We hope we did a good job. All right, Reverend Sharpton, yeah, I can clap us up, that's okay. All right, Reverend Sharpton attended the Congressional Black Caucus's annual legislative conference while in the nation's capital last week. Over the course of several days, the CBC featured civil rights leaders, elected officials, leading experts, influencers, activists, and more to address political, economic, and social issues impacting the Black community. Reverend Sharpton did a number of events at CBC, which was another packed gathering, as so many of our gains are on the line and the fight for justice continues. So we are always looking to what the Congressional Black Caucus is doing and seeing how we can work in tandem with them. Our DC Borough Chief, Ebony Riley, was definitely on the ground, and she represented on several panels, along with Rachel Nordlinger, who is the Communications Director and the partner for Actum, the only Black female partner nationally in the country. They represented well at CBC. Also, Alicia Butler, I don't know if you guys know her, but you've probably seen her at convention. She represented on the mental health and wellness panel at Howard University, and our Howard University leaders of the chapter were there volunteering. So let's clap all of them up for representing in DC, and let's make sure we look to them to hear the legislative push, because the legislative agenda is very, very important going into the election. So I'm always looking to hear from the DC borough about policy, right? Right, accountability matters, all right? The Triumph Awards. What date is the Triumph Awards? Not Patrice. I didn't hear. Chaplain Jade? September 30th. And how can you register, Lisa? But should we be saying that, JT and Damo? Is that over? Is that done? We can still register? Okay, how do you register, Lisa? Loudly so the YouTubers can hear you. Excellent, all right. And where can you call, Treese?
You can call the Great House of Justice at 877-626-4651. Call us, get registered, let's go.
Let's go, all right. I believe the registration, well, I know it's free, but I believe it will be open probably until the end of this week, let's hope. But right now, we are packed, and let's clap that up because people are excited to celebrate our founder, Reverend Al Sharpton's 70th birthday. And I think they also might be excited to hear from Gladys Knight. I know Moms is excited to hear from Gladys Knight. She thought she was Gladys back in the day. But anyway, all right. There's also efforts around, of course, Reverend Sharpton's birthday to get out the vote. We're doing that all the time on the ground, in and out of season. But that's definitely going to be a big part of the celebrations this year. Again, Damien, are you registered? Will you be there? What day is it again? Okay, all right, good. Just making sure, because he has glasses on, so we might think he's asleep up here. All right, last thing, I'm almost done. Ernest, what week are we outside? What week is this? For DEI, every Thursday. We did not ask you, Chaplain Jade. DEI Thursday, what week is this? Oh, come on, General. I thought you were the General to pick it. 39th? No. You're ahead of us. No, you've been prophet. You're ahead of time. Nobody else know? 37. Thank you, Chaplain Jay. This week will be the 37th week. Y'all have been outside. Nan has been outside. We have been outside. Let's clap yourselves up, guys. You should have more energy. You're not out there in vain. Things are happening every day. Salute to Ronald McHenry. He was just here. Our National Network House of Justice coordinator. Is it Reverend or Minister? Reverend Ronald McHenry. Salute to him and his Ernest Waters, one of his generals. I don't care if he didn't know the week we were on. But salute to him and Word and all of those who are out there every week doing what we are built to do, what we were made to do, and answering the call for change. So thank you. Salute to you all. Make sure you join every Thursday at 12 o'clock in New York City. And I believe some other efforts are kicking off with Charles Williams, who we saw from Detroit here and around the nation. All right, so look out for that. That will be on the website. Almost out your way. I told you I had a lot of information today. All right, who went to the African American Day Parade? I did not, but who did? All right, good, that's everybody. Who walked in there? Oh, good job, all right. Who was on the float? Good job, all right, Carswell. And salute to Thomas Carswell. Salute to Inola, not here, Inola Tucker. To our president, Bill Griffin, the whole New York City chapter for the organizing for the float. That used to be a dream. I don't know if y'all remember, almost a decade ago, that was a dream. We used to just gather and walk with whoever he was walking with. Even with, I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, Teresa Freeman, she basically was one of the conveners for the parade, and she always made sure we were taken care of. But to see the float and NAN moving beyond Rev and beyond that with their own contingency and leading the way, and Treese told me Senator Schumer jumped on NAN's float, and that went viral. So let's clap that up. People know what's up. And things are working, so salute to you all, salute to the New York City chapter. Anybody want to share their experience before we move on? Chaplain Jade. Come on, Treese, you kept talking to me about it. You might as well get up here and talk. Share.
Lisa. I know that's right.
It's right, dead air. Come on.
You got a call this, sir?
Man. Go ahead, Chaplain Jade. We're going to let mommy come up. Go ahead.
Okay, mother. Yes, I was there. I wasn't on the float because I was in front of the float carrying the banner. I walked the whole parade.
Come on, Chaplain. Can we share how old you are? Because she's a G. No?
It was wonderful. And on Spectrum 1 News, boom, they had us on there.
I sent the video. I don't know if he has the video, but I sent the clip. I wanted everyone to see us.
Yeah.
But I was excited about Nan. I was excited about y'all.
It was great. It's my first time walking in the African American parade. So thank you, Nan.
All right. Thank you. Come on, Treese. Anybody else? I think mommy is still getting it together. Anybody else want to add from their experience? And Brother Carswell, you helped organize. Can we hear from you briefly?
Yeah.
Please, we can bring you the mic as well. Go ahead.
But wait a minute.
Go ahead, Mom. And Gina Williams just came in the building. We know you had a big part in the African American Day Parade yesterday. Yes. Let's clap them up as they come. Treese, you end it for us. Come on, Thomas Caldwell, one of our organizers.
Okay, it was a very enjoyable experience. I felt very proud to be, I felt like the leader of the pack because I was right in the front of the float. And very proud of National Action Network, and it was just all around real good feeling to be out there representing Reverend Al and the work that we do here at National Action Network. Thank you.
Thank you, TC. This one.
I was there. A lot of the programs, like, I don't know if you'll notice that I'm glad Nan was there. I did see y'all. And usually Baltimore comes out, from Baltimore, they come out. I don't know if they was there. Because we got to get our children that is here in Harlem and even the Bronx or wherever, the 5 boroughs, we have to get them involved, with it. Because a lot of people kept asking me, well, what is this parade?
One mic, please.
And I kept on telling them it's the African American Day Parade. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And they live down here. And it's a lot of white people that live down here that don't know. And even our black African sisters and brothers, they don't even participate in it. But I
thank you, sister, for your analysis and participation. Gina?
Hey, family. So yes. Yes, it was a beautiful day in Harlem yesterday, I will say. So, the African American Day Parade Breakfast Committee, we host a breakfast at Harlem Tavern every year, and it was a wonderful breakfast. However, we are going to have to look for a bigger venue because it is not enough space. You know, we totally outgrew it. So it was good while it lasts, but it's time to look for something else. However, I do want to say this. All the floats were magnificent. So I'm involved in a whole lot of different community organizations. I did not get a chance to ride with my Masonic and Eastern Star, my brothers and my Eastern Star sisters. Then there's the dojo. However, this is what I want to bring to everybody's attention. And of course, I didn't get a chance with Nan. Gino was with my daughter. I was out of town too. But this is what I want to bring to everybody's attention. The parade has been cut down. So we need to pay attention. It used to go from 110th all the way up to the Armory, around the corner from 145th, around down to 5th Avenue and 135th Street. Okay? Music and all. So now when you get to 135th Street, they want you to turn everything off. So there was, did anybody get a notice? Nan got a notice about that? Okay, so here's where it has to start. First, community boards must be alerted about any type of change. That alert goes to the district leaders, and it should go to prominent organizations such as NAN, and it should also come through the community affairs from the precinct. So now, in addition to them cutting everything and changing everything last minute without any notice, there was another problem that could be problematic. So when you're getting off the float, you have chairs or whatever for people who might need to sit. So as you're trying to get back to whatever the location is, to take your items back in, you couldn't get through the police with the, okay, so we had to go through so much. Showing ID, saying who we are. Oh, now why do we have to do this in our neighborhood? So we have a couple of solutions that we need to start working on. One, everybody needs to go to their community board meeting and they need to talk about this. Two, find out who your district leaders are. So we know up here is Al Taylor and it's Ernestine. Then when you're going further down, it's Keith L.T. Wright and Wilma Brown Phillips. When you go further down, it is William Allen and Cordell Clear. Okay? So now that we know that, and then when you go further over west, it's Inez Dinkins and Charlie Rangel. Now that we know that, what we need to do is send them a list of names saying we need your support to reach out, one, to the African American
we
Day
work
Parade,
with them, so we can definitely come
Chamber,
to the whole
okay,
meeting,
Harlem
right?
Chamber of Commerce,
Okay, ADP.
and let them know what's going on. Two, have a conversation with the community affairs. Three, this is very key. At the community board is going to be the transportation committee that would be handling this situation, Parks and Rec. So we have a lot of work. Now, I believe in signatures. They're more effective. It means you took time to talk to people, explain situations, so we could be more organized and we transmit those on. And what we can do is bump it up a notch and send it to our state. Right now it's Schumer, Christian Gillibrand, and et cetera, Kathy Hochul and all those good folks. Because every other parade is on Fifth Avenue. They go long and they go strong, and they are loud. So why can't we have our claim to fame, our moment of sunshine, to have a good day? It happens once a year because we know our Black history is every day, regardless. We're not going with the 28 days in February and all that. We celebrate every day. But if we have a moment to be recognized through a parade where people come together celebrating culture, food, different languages, and just being able to celebrate together in peace and harmony without any type of incidences. There was no shooting, no fighting, no violence, nothing. People were eating, drinking, and enjoying. Then we need to bring more attention to that fact and say, not cut our parade down with this nonsense. These shenanigans must stop. Because I'm going to tell you something.
Okay, wait, G, hold on before you go, because we only said we were supposed to be 30 seconds.
Oh, sorry.
What I want you to do, I'm going to charge you, right?
Okay.
Or challenge you, rather,
Yeah.
since we want to take action. You said a lot of information, a lot. Some of it I received, some I didn't. So I know some people out there received and some did not.
Right.
I want you to write that up.
Yep.
And give instructions so that we can share that with those who
Copy
understand
that.
exactly what's going on and that we can actually take the action on what you just said.
I will do that. Just one last
Go ahead.
thing. Because guess what? This is my thinking process. I think what they will try to do is let us go from 110th to 125th Street at the State Building and try to end it. Moving forward. So no, I'm just saying moving forward. So we got to remember these things. Thank you.
Right, for sure. They definitely have a strategy, so in order to intercept that strategy, we make sure that we're doing what we have to do, and not just talking about it, but making sure we're being about it, right? All right, thank you, Gina. Come on, Word, take us home.
Hi. Good day, everybody, and God bless everybody. I'm glad the sister mentioned this at the close, because at the beginning, what I want to say, I want to thank God there was no violent incidences. It was a whole parade of joy. The fact that it was on Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard is huge. That name is known worldwide now because of the parade and other activities that black communities have. But in particular, National Action Network, what I was thankful for also is that we were about the third float to float out. Before, we were like almost near the end, but they got us rolling out early. And we were turned up. It was so much fun. But it was fun with a purpose. Sister Patrice did her thing.
Peace out.
She did her thing. The outreach for voting was huge. And she stayed on the mic. Stayed on the mic. It was so interactive. I want to see those hands of the registered voters. It was very interactive. Very interactive. The reach was huge. I would think worldwide, because this parade is internationally known. You know, I could say a lot more, but I would be laughing right now. I can't even talk. I'm just so happy about how well it went. And yeah, I usually do walk, but I got my strut on.
Go ahead, Word. Come on, y'all.
You know, this was a lot of fun, but this one had a real significant purpose. And Sister Patrice made it known to the whole population. To use her phrase, this is a 911 situation. And she said it in a way that people could really, don't be nervous about it, because we could do something about it. And it was so productive, with a strong purpose, and National Action Network is well known again. And Chuck Schumer got on the float. That's right. He was so enthused. It just was wonderful. It was wonderful. So it was wonderful. God bless you all.
Thank you, Word. Last but not least, Trees.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say real quickly, so Lisa, you know, she's normally with us, but sister was home sending us the pictures. She said she saw us on all of the stations. But
Send me the pictures so I can post them, please.
the biggest thing for me was when Lisa said that the parade was on YouTube. And on TV, they only showed it about 3 hours. But on YouTube, they showed the entire parade. And the reach was over 1 million people. And
That's excellent.
not only that,
Come on, ADP.
but not only that, but the voice that I was using and talking to the crowd, that's the only voice that they have on the YouTube channel.
We need to pull that
Inviting
in.
people to vote.
We need to pull
and
that.
make sure that they get out to vote. And then I gave the address of, I guess I was so hyped, I gave the address of here for people to come if they weren't registered to vote. And a gentleman walked in today, and I have the application on my desk that he filled out, and he said he heard it on the floor.
Can you stand
and we
up,
got,
brother?
No, he's not here, he's not here. He walked in earlier today, and I have the application on my desk just to show that he wanted to make sure he was registered to vote. So shout out to Nan.
That's what it's about.
And everybody was like, where's Rev? But y'all represent. It's okay. We see him on that floor too, but they didn't really see him, but they thought he was there. But shout out to Nan and all of the people that organized. I know did an amazing job. We all worked together. She had food on the float for everybody. And it was just an amazing day. So shout out to Nan. We represented well. We hope we did y'all proud.
Excellent. Once more, let's clap y'all up. Another successful year. This 56th annual African American Day Parade. And I remember when they were talking about canceling it. So we have to make sure we have to continue to support this activity and tradition because they definitely want to end it. They didn't just want to cut the route. They wanted to cut it completely. All right? All right, and salute to also New York State Attorney General Tish James, who was one of the honorees this year. And salute, I know there were some complaints, like Gina said, everything was not perfect, but salute to the African American Day Parade Committee and the leadership who basically have come back and forth. Y'all have heard from them at the rally several times. And of course, GHCC for what they do. All right, moving on, I'm almost done. This is long, I'm sorry. All right, Jordan Neely. Everybody know who Jordan Neely is. Just an update in his case, because I know I shared two weeks ago about the court dates. They have changed the court dates, so I don't know if they're watching what's going on. I know there's a lot going on with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, but just some brief updates that I just wanted to share. And everyone is aware that he's the homeless street performer who used to impersonate Michael Jackson, who was killed last year in the subway in May. All right, who knows who is on trial, who killed him? Does anybody know his name? I just know Ex-Marine. Ex-Marine, that's correct. Anybody know his name? His last name is a coin. Penny. What's his first name? Daniel Penny. There you go. So his name is Daniel Penny. Right, and he's an ex-Marine. So basically he's on trial, well he's starting trial. A couple from Europe may have extended video on the incident, but they have declined for more than a year to turn the footage over to prosecutors. There are talks still underway, but they have also refused to testify in the upcoming trial. They've met with Manhattan DA's office several times because basically they're saying that this video could basically make the case. So, but technically they're immune to being subpoenaed because they're not from America, right? So that's an update. Again, the dates keep changing. The manslaughter trial now begins October 21st. Okay? So everyone say October 21st. So right now, tentatively, the manslaughter trial begins October 21st. That can change tomorrow because they keep changing the trial dates like literally every day. But right now, the trial begins the 21st. The next hearing is set for, when is Reverend Sharpton's birthday, anyone? October 3rd. They have made the hearing date on October 3rd, which is a Thursday, right? So before, remember, it was supposed to be tomorrow. It was supposed to be September 17th, and then the 8th of October. Now they've changed it to October 3rd and October 21st. But regardless how many times they change it, we're going to keep sharing the information so that we're outside and there to support the family and also the lawyers. But again, the hearing is set for October 3rd, and the trial begins October 21st. Daniel Penny is free on $100,000 cash bail, and his online defense fund has raised $3 million. Right, it's absolutely crazy. So they definitely need our support. Yes. The 21st of October. And the hearing is on the 3rd. Last but not least, September is Suicide Prevention Month, or Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. So next week we're going to have a full-out huddle about that issue because it's very important and it's impacting our young communities, but it's impacting our elders as well. All right? Thank you for your time, and I'll be back for the Did You Knows.
Thank you so much, Ashley, with those action alerts. I know it was a lot to digest, but you always can look at it on nationalactionnetwork.net. So right now, we always bring to you a Black History fact of the day. So to bring us our Black History fact is none other than our brother Damien. He's going to tell you a little bit. You remember the name Terrence Crutcher? Oh, not enough of y'all said yes. Here's Damien. He's going to read you some facts.
Thank you, Patrice, and good evening, Huddle. Good to see you, and welcome to another productive and busy week. Our first Black History fact for today is about Terrence Crutcher, born 1976, and he passed in 2016. On September 16, 2016, 43-year-old Tulsa police officer Betty Shelby shot and killed Terrence Crutcher. The circumstances of the shooting would become the source of a police investigation and separate civil rights investigations by the Department of Justice. A trial resulted in acquittal for Shelby, and a series of protests would also ensue. Terrence Crutcher was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma on August 16, 1976, to the parents of Joey and Leanna Crutcher. He had 4 children, 3 daughters, and a son he lived with at the time of his death. He was passionate about music, singing in a local church choir, majoring in music at Tulsa Community College. Many of his friends and neighbors described him as a family man who was focused on his children and his dreams of becoming a gospel singer. The situation that resulted in Crutcher's death began while Officer Shelby was responding to a call by passerby drivers who had reported that a car was abandoned in the middle of the road. When the police arrived, they encountered Crutcher. According to Shelby, Crutcher was non-compliant, that's what they always say, when directed by police officers. Shelby believed Crutcher reached into his car for what she thought may have been a weapon, that's what they always say. Despite this, the video from a helicopter and a police car's dashboard camera showed Crutcher with his hands up during some of the events before being stunned with the taser and then being shot. Crutcher died immediately from the shootings. Reactions to the event were widespread, with many civil rights advocates calling for shootings racially motivated. The district attorney for Tulsa County filed charges against the officer Shelby for manslaughter. Thank God for that. She was arrested but remained on paid leave during trial. While the prosecution focused on the unnecessary use of force by the police officers, Shelby's defense attorney argued that Crutcher was non-compliant, reached into his SUV, and had doses of PCP in his bloodstream, according to the Oklahoma Medical Examiner's Office. While Crutcher had some history of drug abuse early in his life, the prosecution argued that none of Crutcher's actions warranted lethal force. On May 17, 2017, jury found Shelby not guilty of first-degree manslaughter charge. In response, Tulsa chapter of Black Lives Matter held a peaceful protest within the city. While Governor Mary Follen argued those disagreeing with the verdict to express their opinions peacefully. Officer Shelby resigned from the department on August 3, 2017. Crutcher's family would also file a civil lawsuit for wrongful death against Shelby and the Tulsa police. Overall, this incident reinforced the nationwide debate about the racial profiling of African Americans by the police. Crutcher's death also illustrated a culture of eroding race relations. In Tulsa, where a history of racial division existed since 1921 riots that resulted in the killing of over 300 black residents. And this is our Black History article for this afternoon. This must end.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Damien, for giving us our Black History fact. We always encourage our young people to come up and tell us something that's going on about membership. So to bring us up today, we're going to ask Gino to come up and give you a little information about membership. Please welcome Gino, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Is everybody an updated member for the year 2024? Have you renewed your membership? Oh, okay. If not, this applies to you as well as those who are not the members of NAN. The best way to stay informed and in action is to become a member of NAN. Stay informed about NAN events close to where you live. Text Justice followed by your state to 59769, 59769. And then every Saturday at 9 a.m., Rev, you could come see Rev talk.
It's either I'm getting shorter or you're getting taller. Thank you, Gino. I think he's getting taller and that voice getting a little deep there, Gina. So thank you so much. So this is when we have open huddle, and we invite you to come up and tell us about some good news that you've had since the last time we've seen each other. And as Ashley talked about it, and as you make your way up, you know, this is Suicide Prevention Month, and so many people suffer in silence. But if you or someone you know is struggling or in a crisis, help is always available. You can call or text 988, call or text 988, or chat 988lifeline.org to reach the 988 Suicide and Crisis line. Suicide thoughts, much like mental health conditions, can affect anyone regardless of your age, gender, or background. Suicidal thoughts, although common, should not be considered normal and often indicate more serious issues. September, this entire month, is Suicide Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness of this urgent, important crisis. We use this month to shift public perception, spread hope, and share vital information to people affected by suicide. Our goal is ensuring that individuals, friends, and families have access to the resources they need to discuss suicide prevention and to seek help. Just a quick did you know on suicide. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 through 14. And the 12th leading cause of death overall in the U.S. Although more women than men attempt suicide, men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide. Did y'all know that? Lesbian, gay, and bisexual youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than straight youth. Transgender adults are 9 times more likely to attempt suicide at some point in their lives compared to their peers. So listen, as we're going to discuss it next week, but suicide prevention is real. So many people suffer in silence. If you need help, reach out for help. If you don't feel like you can do it by yourself, you know, grateful I am the National Crisis Director here at the National Action Network. So you can come in, I can get you connected to some resources. We want to get you help. Call 988. That number is real. If you want to talk to somebody, someone is on that line. So remember, always remember someone that's quiet. Encourage them to go to the line and get some help. And that wraps up my Suicide Prevention Month, and we'll be talking more about that on our next huddle. Come up and share some good news with us, Word.
So during the Saturday rally, we have the segment, What's on Your Mind? And the sister reminded us that we have a sister who's currently in a nursing home who's going to be celebrating her 104th birthday, and that she welcomes guests. So her birthday is September 9th. I could only visit her on September 8th, which was a Sunday. So I went to visit her, and she was in the, I guess I would call the common rec area. They were looking at TV, talking. So I sat with her, and she's full of conversation, just full. And I asked the whole room, do you mind watching Politics Nation? So we all watch Politics Nation and talk politics in between. And Sister Nixon, 104, is just alert. So she heard something, she said, is that a swing state? I mean, she's up on it. She's really, really up on it. She is a National Action Network lifetime member.
Sure is.
So personally, it's rewarding for me because when I was young, I had the fortune of knowing, I was raised in Harlem, so I knew 2 women who were 100 years old. And that used to be what I was very happy to have had experience of knowing 100-year-old people. So now I know a 104-year-old person. It's just something to really just be so grateful to know someone is living their life with us in mind as well, because even though she's in a nursing home, she's still a National Action Network member. She's still doing her thing and speaking whatever she needs to do. She used to be here, and when she would get on What's on Your Mind, whatever she says, she will always end, vote, vote, vote. So, yeah, so we carrying it on, and God bless y'all.
Thank you, Word. You sound just like her, too. Share some good news with us.
So I'm going to be brief. So it's a flyer here for National Voter Registration Day. And of course, NAN is on here as a list of our partners. But this list is compiled of 3 boroughs, and we're working on the other 2. But these are places that are going to be able to, you can pick up a voter registration form at any time. So we'll make some copies, but we'll keep this hung up. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on, Marcus Al, share some good news with the group.
Our good news is that I got into the Bronx Zoo again yesterday.
Yes, I love it. Come on, share some good news with us.
I just got to say that I don't like coming behind him because he's so much better than me. I can't take it. So my good news is it's an idea that I'm working on, not in full effect yet. But on Wednesday, I had this idea that, DEI, right? We're picketing DEI every Thursday at Bill Ackman's place. And I thought about maybe we could do a more powerful way of doing this. And so I have a friend who is he calls himself the PR assassin. What that means is he knows how to help you clean up your reputation in the world by finding all the damages that could be happening, but he also must know how to create damage. So what I want to have happen is we can send, not necessarily NAN, at least not officially, but send 1,000 to 2,000 emails a day to Bill Ackman about rebellion and PR, about killing his effect around DEI, and don't mess with us ever again. So that's my good news for today.
Thank you, that's different. Come on and share some good news with us.
Go ahead, Chad.
The good news that I want to share, again, the good news that I want to share is that the men's auxiliary this past Saturday, we went with Miss Gwen Carr to her gala event for Eric Garner, the men's auxiliary. We went out there and we supported Miss Gwen Carr, and we had a grand time. It was a beautiful experience. We had all we want to eat, all we want to drink, and we danced the night away. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
And much love to Gwen Carr and the Eric Initiative Foundation on 10 years. And Nan has been in that fight, and salute to those who have never left her side. Like Chaplain Jay said, Tony Veer, I challenge you to write that up and get that to Ronald McHenry, who is head of the DEI action here, and JT. So basically you can connect the technological part and just, hand in hand and get that approved, and let's get it going. Because 1,000 emails, that's good, y'all, right?
Yeah. That's amazing.
Directed properly, okay. My good news is I wanted to salute Dawn Jones and the NAN Political Action Committee. They have been canvassing in partnership with the Greater New York Links chapter, Dominique's chapter, and she helped to convene that partnership since July. They have been on the corner of 118th Street and Frederick Douglass, which is 116, excuse me, outside of Boulevard Bistro, basically getting out the vote. Is also not pushing a candidate, but basically providing the information on the table for anybody to come out for hours during the weekend. And they volunteered. Several people from other committees have come out and volunteered. Ernest Waters have been out there a lot of weekends. It's been hot. I know Sister Word has been out there. Lisa has been out there. Mr. Andrea volunteered this past Saturday. I think I asked Teresa to ask her how many people she registered, and she said 75 thus far. So let's clap that up. Since July, you're not going to get a lot of people to stop and talk to you about voting or even register. We've been out there. Some people laugh at us. Some people say, why are you not? Please go away, whatever. But some people did stop. So salute to you, Dawn Jones, for your continued leadership. Ever since I was a little girl, Dawn Jones has literally been getting out the vote. I know she walks around literally with voter registration pamphlets in her purse, and she has a whole file cabinet here full of the information. So just salute to you for your leadership, civic participation in and out of season. She's not funded. She does this on her own. So thank you for your leadership. And then this past Saturday was the last one. But they allowed us to partner with them as far as Huddle, and we gave away 32 book bags and school supplies. Basically, it's supposed to start at 2, but I'm a little unorganized. So we started at 12:30. We just put it together and started doing it. Thank you to Stephen Marshall, who was there to help. Daniel from Supreme was there to help. Auntie Andrea came to help. Lisa and Treese came. They came at 2, so they came when it was 3 left. Word as well. But just thank you all for basically coming, and Ernest Waters and Terrence Floyd. Thank you to come for your support always. And salute to the young people who got those bags on 116th Street. And one more, FCBC, Reverend Warron is on our board. And if you pass by 116th Street from, was that 5th? No, Lenox to 7th? Lenox to 7th was literally packed. The whole block was packed with resources. It was tense, it was beautiful. I think it's called Hope in Harlem. And they provided mental health resources and community resources on the whole block. And we were at the end, so it was we're honored to be at the end. But it was beautiful. So salute to you, Reverend Warron and FCBC. Thank you for continuing to put on for your community, not just on Sundays, but every day of the year. So, and thank you for those who are part of it.
Thank you so much. Come share some good news. Oh, some great news in here today. Share some news, sis.
Good evening. When I'm outside doing work for me and God, I met a woman that shared her story about her life story as she was in a domestic violence, and then I shared my little story with her. She said, "You should come into that program." But I know it was here, they had something with domestic violence. And when I called the place over there, do you know that the Spanish woman that was over the phone told me I didn't deserve the $50 food voucher. So
this is the good news segment.
Yeah,
You gonna get to the good news?
I do.
No, I just want to make sure that we're all in the same segment. We still are part of good news, right? Because you just said they denied a voucher. So what's the good news to that? Did they give you the voucher? What's the good news part?
Well, I was outside. I thank God for the men that do help out when we're out there by ourselves as women. And the sister that just walked in, she was out there walking her dog. But I understand. I give out to the homeless people when they don't have. An old man said, "Well, I don't have $1." I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask him that. I don't ask the young people that don't have. I give it to them. I give out my sodas or whatever I have. I give it to people that don't have.
Thank you for giving back to the community. That's her great news. Thank you, Sandra. Keep sharing. We appreciate you in the community. Tell us some good news.
I got a 3.8 in my global history class. A 3.8 is a 94. Just to clarify.
All right. Thank you for that clarity, sir. Thank you, scholar. Thank you for that clarity, sir. Share some good news, sis.
Okay, so my name is Donna Tsufuda, and I came back from the Paralympics in Paris, which was really inspiring. And I just want to share that their mascot is this Phrygian hat, which symbolizes liberty and freedom and revolution and the fight for freedom. And the mascot is like the hat that they wore. And for the Paralympics, they had,
Talking to Mike.
Yeah.
Talking to Mike.
And I just wanted to read something very short. It's very short. But just a comment on this that I think relates to Nan. They said, gold medal winning high jumper Roderick Townsend and U.S. flag bearer and sitting volleyball star Nikki Neves took different routes to the Paris Paralympics. But they agree that given a dip, in diverse representation amongst Paralympians compared to Olympians, there is untapped athletic talent among Black people and other people of color with disabilities. The reasons for that, they say, include money, the stigma of identifying with a disability, and proximity to para clubs where they can train. I want us to be represented as much as possible, Neve said. I'm a firm believer of if you can see her, you can be her. So I feel that the good news is that these really amazing athletes are speaking out and inspiring, to give opportunities and hope and for Paralympics of, who are athletes of color.
That's wonderful, thank you. And we're glad you traveled back safely, and welcome back. So come on, put your hands together for all of our great news that was out here today. And that's why, think of something between now and next Monday, and next Monday come share with us. We love to celebrate with you. Right now we're going to hop into what we consider the Did You Know articles. And sometimes you may know and sometimes you may not. That's why we're here. So to bring us our first Did You Know today is none other than our brother Damien. Who remembers the name Breonna Taylor? Oh, all right. I love it. Come on, Damien. So I just made your Did You Know a little bit easier. Welcome, Damien, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Patrice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, the title of this article is called Families of Breonna Taylor, Sonia Macy Demand Police Reform. Family members of Breonna Taylor, Tyree Nichols, and Sonia Macy are uniting in support of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Tyler, Nicholas, and Macy lost their lives during encounters with police. The July 6th death of Macy highlighted an ongoing problem with police conduct following George Floyd's death. Macy died after Deputy Sean Grayson shot her in the face in her Illinois home after responding to a report suspected intruder. He has been indicted and charged with first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and official misconduct. During a press conference at the annual Congressional Black Caucus in Washington, D.C., family members of Taylor, Nicholas, and Macy emphasized the need for policing accountability. Revolt reports. Watch the video report above. I am tired of begging for people to do the right thing because it's bigger than Breonna. It's all these women up here crying for their babies, said Tamika Palmer, Taylor's mother. I don't know why we have to beg for justice. We are asking you to do the right thing. And that's just that simple, to do the right thing. The George Floyd Justice and Policing Act was named after George Floyd, who died in 2020 after former officer Derek Chauvin kneeled on his neck. In 2021, Chauvin was convicted of murder and manslaughter and received a 22-and-a-half-year prison sentence. This bill was first introduced by then-Senator Kamala Harris and other lawmakers that same year. While the bill passed the House twice, it has faced challenges in the Senate. The act proposes reforms such as banning chokeholds, no-knock warrants, and establishing a national police conduct registry. It was reintroduced in August following Macy's death. We have too many children dying at the hands of police, and I may say that Congress is currently holding up progress. So Congress, I want to make it clear, the blood of all the children who have been murdered is on your hands, said Roe Vaughn, Wells Nichols' mother. As the George Floyd Policing Act is reintroduced to Congress, we stand at a crucial juncture in our nation's history, Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump said in a statement. Now, last but not least, and I've got to totally agree with this, and these are not my words, but these are definitely my sentiments. This legislation represents a significant step towards addressing systematic racism and ensuring accountability in law enforcement. The tragic loss of George Floyd and the countless others, including Sonia Macy, who was unjustly killed by police in her own home, must not be in vain. It must not be in vain. He also added, it is imperative that we honor their memories by enacting meaningful reforms. This act aims to enhance transparency, implement stronger standards for police conduct, and ultimately build a safer and more just society for all Americans. I urge our lawmakers to come together, transcend partisan divides, and pass the essential legislation. The time is now for action. Let's do what we have to do this November and vote Kamala Harris as our next President of the United States, and all those Democrats and those falling in line who supports this justice package. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that Did You Know? And our second Did You Know this evening is coming from our director and founder, and she's going to tell you a little bit about Angela also Brooks. Welcome, Ashley Sharpton, everyone.
Thank you. My Did You Know is informative. It's literally a Did You Know. I don't have a question, but if anyone wants to add to the article after, you're welcome to come. If not, I'll be right down. All right. Anyone have ever heard of Angela also Brooks? No? And what about Lisa Blunt Rochester? All right, so make sure you pay attention. It's unheard of for two black women to serve in the U.S. Senate at the same time. I'll say that again in this 2024 in the United States of America. It's unheard of for two black women to serve in the United States Senate at the same time. However, that might change in November if the two black women Democratic candidates, Lisa Blunt Rochester and Angela Also Brooks, win their elections. If both black women are elected, the election will mark a historic moment within the chamber, which has mostly reflected white male membership. According to the Associated Press, victorious elections for Rochester and Also Brooks would double the number of black women to ever hold a seat in the U.S. Senate from 2 to 4. For Blunt Rochester, the road ahead for the Delaware seat is expected to be a hands-down defeat for her Republican candidate following an uncontested primary on Tuesday. However, in order for America to witness a historic moment in the United States Senate, Also Brooks must prevail in what is predicted to be a tight race for the Maryland seat against former Republican Governor Larry Hogan. The two women are rooting for each other and address each other as sister senator-to-be in their personal text message exchanges. This isn't a cookie-cutter way to run. Blunt Rochester said about the bid for office, she said her goal goes beyond making history, but to make a difference and impact on people's lives. As previously mentioned by Black Enterprise, the Democrat who made history as the first woman and person of color to represent Delaware in Congress, let's clap that up. She has planned to campaign aggressively as she's been a representative for seniors, the environment, small businesses, and women's reproductive rights. People like me, stories like mine, don't usually make it to the United States Senate. Also, Brooks said in August, Black Enterprise noted, the Prince George's County executive shared her grandmother's dream of working in government and her goals to shape policy in Congress during the DNC, those who watched. Her campaign has addressed issues like environmental protection and women's reproductive rights. Glenda C. Carr, the president and CEO of Higher Heights for America, which is a friend in this room, said people are anxious and excited about the possible outcome of both women's elections. So make sure you guys look out for Angela Also Brooks and Lisa Blunt Rochester. No, it's not in New York City, but if you have family in Delaware or Prince George's County, make sure they know their names, make sure they get out that vote, and make sure you tune into Politics Nation, because both ladies were on Politics Nation several times. I'm telling Reverend. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Don't report them. They're going to go back and watch it. We can't report them. So our third Did You Know, and it's going to get a little hot in here. So have you heard of the name Rich Lowry? And the N-word. Come on, Dominique. Share your Did You Know with the crowd. She'll explain. Welcome, Dominique Sharpton, everyone.
Thank you. So today, so many of you probably don't know, but my father, my sister, and I have a group chat. I'm hearing y'all got group chats with your family. All right, so we got a little group chat. And today, so my dad sends us memes. Like, he looks at every piece of news outlet, from media takeout to the Shade Room to Wall Street Journal to New York Times, and he looks at everything and reads everything, and usually reads everything before 7 in the morning. So by the time Ashley and I usually wake up, we are flooded in our inbox, in our group chat, with articles and things that he wants us to look at, and did you know this and did you know that. It's a constant did you know in our family every day on these smartphones. And on today, just like any other day, he sends us a very interesting articles and things to look at. And on today, he sends in our group chat this article about this man, conservative editor, apologizes after seeming to use the N-word regarding Haitian migrants. He sent the video of the man apologizing. And I immediately felt outraged. One, because as you know, former President Donald Trump has been saying some hate speech as it relates to Haitians, as it relates to immigrants, as it relates to how we interface and interact and engage with other people from other countries. And it's usually depicted towards people of color, not usually depicted towards countries that house and have other types of people, but it's usually he's very vocal about hate speech against other people in other countries that usually are people of color. And on this particular incident, like, I immediately saw this and I was enraged because I feel like, for one thing, we know that the rhetoric of certain people in high places are used to despise and demise the world, our people, and divide us from continue to move forward and make progress. However, I feel like there is a rally, a cry. And those of you who listen to Keeping It Real heard me talk about this because I hosted it a few days ago, and we were talking about hate speech and why, you know, somebody called in basically and was saying, well, why is it that, you know, when Trump gets out there and says XYZ, we don't see none of the black leaders standing up in defense to the black woman. He calls Kamala Harris all kinds of names and we never hear nobody's, you know, speaking up in defense to her. And I feel like there's a domino trickle effect when we pay attention to those who are being vocal about hate speech as it relates to us. I feel like for us as a people, our rallying cry is to mobilize and organize, to vote and to change things, to change laws. And when we come together and we rally together and we organize together, we are unstoppable, right? And so I feel like there's constant depiction of us in the media negatively in order to derail our unification and our unity and us coming together to get things done. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, please, like, here goes somebody else calling, you know, whatever. But when I actually looked at the video, and I'm going to talk about this, I was completely outraged because I'm like, where did this person feel that he was empowered to have a platform to basically be able to talk freely about this and think about it, and the fact that there's no consequences to whatever I'm going to say, and however I'm going to say it. So this editor-in-chief of this conservative magazine, National Review, Rich Lowry, appeared to have used a racial slur during a conversation on the Megyn Kelly show, a very popular show, by the way, in which the two pundits were discussing the rampant falsehoods about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio. Lowry dropped the slur in place of the word migrants, quickly correcting himself afterward. And I am going to quote him, young people. He said, police have gone through 11 months of recordings of calls, and they've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian N-words, he said, seemingly correcting afterward by adding migrants very quickly. Kelly did not react to Lowry's apparent slip-up, nor did she address it when he finished speaking. She literally acted like he didn't say anything. Instead, the two defended Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, who spread the claims despite admitting that they were false, praising his alternative facts. Vance doubled down on debunked claims about Haitian migrants abducting pets to eat them and falsely linked the migrant community to rising rates of HIV and tuberculosis in an interview last week with CNN's Caitlin Collins. I want y'all young people to also be mindful of the outlets in which these slurs and these conversations are taking place. So I've said CNN, I've said the Megyn Kelly show. These are all on major networks, okay? I'm gonna just keep reading. He later admitted the rumors were false, but defended spreading them in a Sunday interview with Dana Bash on CNN. If I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of American people, Dana, then that's what I'm going to do, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. J.D. Vance said. The conspiracy theory that Haitian immigrants in Springfield were stealing and eating pets went viral after former President Donald Trump spread the false claims during last Tuesday's presidential debate. Trump insisted that immigrants were eating the dogs and cats of residents, despite local officials consistently debunking the rumors and noting that no evidence supported the claims. After the backlash, Mr. Lowry claimed on X, or Twitter, that he misspoke, insisting that he began to mispronounce the word migrants and caught myself halfway through. So he said he wasn't trying to say the N-word, he was trying to say migrants. However, he did say it. It was recorded and aired. It is on Twitter. The video is circulating and up there for everybody to see. It's on YouTube and everywhere else. And we are outraged by it. Not only outraged at the fact that this man said what he said, but then tried to come back and say afterwards, nah, I was trying to say migrants, and I said nigga instead. Literally, is what he said. Now, understanding the climate that we're in, understanding that yes, free speech exists, when we are speaking on two major networks and all major networks, is there supposed to be some type of protocol that is had? And furthermore, we all know, that had this been somebody of color saying something else and mistakenly pronouncing, a name that correlates to someone else, we know that there would be no room for error. However, in this incident, the question does continue to remain, what do we do? Where do we stand? And how do we deal with things that are happening to us like this, blatantly in our faces, without us standing up and saying something or doing something about it? Where does the accountability lay? Where should it be had? And what should we continue to do about it as we continue to fight these perils? Please come and share your comments. Now, I'm not that old. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I remember, though, when I was growing up in school, and somebody, you know how young people talk and they play around with each other, they joke around with each other. But there were levels, right, to what you were allowed to say to your friends or colleagues before, things escalated into something else. And that was your mama jokes. Like, don't say nothing about my mama. You can talk about, right? There were levels to interacting, right? There were levels to dealing with conflict. You can only say so much before we were about to start really getting at it and it was going to get personal. So why is it like, in a climate where we are watching TV, we're involved in technology, we all got smartphones, we can all see and read and listen to everything that's happening and coming out your mouth, you got free speech, but where do we draw the line here? What does it take? Please share your comments.
Okay. This is a reality we're really going to have to really accept, whether we like this or not. Vice President Kamala Harris uses the phrase, the tired old playbook. This is what the racists are going to do. This is what they're going to do. What we have to do is not get so emotionally caught up when they say it. This is all they got to do is use the N-word and other slanderous things. But what we have to do is wise up and know that this is a lying, hateful technique that racists use. And everyone has to really accept that. Even the white people who are not racist have to understand, don't get played. Don't get played. Don't get distracted from what our real responsibility is to take care of this government that really we are supposed to support because the government is supposed to support us. It's another distraction trying to play on our emotions. We have to really stay focused. But in the meantime, hold on, I got to slow down a moment. Tear this person's political career up. Don't let him hold any political positions. Play that back when the person is running run that whole phrase right back on them. Because what they want to use is this an opportunity to get voted in. We're going to use it to never vote them in. This J.D. Vance, I mean, he's saying a whole lot. But it's going to come against them because that's going to be a disqualification. If we really understand any politician, any public person who talks like that, they're not qualified to hold a public position. They're just not qualified. They think they want to get at us. We can't let it be that way. They just showed that they're unfit, totally unfit. He's a head of some major corporation. He's talking trash like that. He's unfit. We don't have to really take it on as being a slanderous statement against us and get our feelings hurt and all this, that, and the other. The person's unfit. By that person saying that, we could say, you're unfit. That's why you talk like that. Plain and simple.
I would have used a different excuse if I was in his position. I would have been talking about, oh yeah, I was listening to NWA and I forgot. Don't curse. Don't say the N-word. All right, that was a joke. Really, two things. One is that small-minded people want to push you down so they can stand and survive. Strong-minded people want to lift up everyone. I think it was Martin Luther King or it was Nelson Mandela. Somebody had said, the jailer and the jailee are both in jail. And so if you want to take everybody else down, then you're going to be the only one left, and then you're going to be wondering how nobody's helping you, and then you're going to be scrambling around like you think you like Caligula or something. So these guys are so small-minded. They don't know how to lift up people. They only want people to follow them. And the people who follow them think the same way they do. So that's the problem that we have. And he's such a small-minded person. Another thing I've realized is that most billionaires and multimillionaires, they're scarcity-minded too. They're just trying to avoid not running out of their money. They have the money, but they act just as small-minded as homeless people. It's just that they have the resources, so they feel like you can't take it away from you, get out of here, and they want to bully you. Bullying don't work, never going to. Last thing I want to say is that on the map of consciousness, the different levels of consciousness from low to high, Jesus Christ, Buddha, high, that's the highest level, the most enlightened people, these people at the bottom, they're never going to be able to see how you think. If you don't understand how they think, they're just going to try to take you out. And so that's stupid. We need to actually learn how to be intelligent, see through people, think, and either help them think or get them out of the way so that the people who actually can think can take over and support and lift everybody up. I'm complete.
Thank you. We're going to have these last two comments very quickly.
We keep on looking at, they keep on saying what they want to say to us, and we feed into it. Like, I was talking to a young man, and he says, in their country or other countries, even if you talk against the king or the queen's dog, they'll put you in jail. We better thank God we're here in America, and it's free speech. Like Reverend Al Sharpton's daughter says, free speech. We gotta stay focused on what we need to do by marching and making sure the rights of the people get in there. That's what. Thank you.
It really wasn't a question. We just want you to respond to.
So I'm gonna try not to go too far off. But at some point you get tired of this conversation. You know what I mean? Because it's like they're stealing our energy, like they're harnessing it. And I'm noticing every September there's something happening. Like, I'll be honest, 3 years ago, September 2021, I had to check it out because I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds familiar.
we saw Texas state troopers or Homeland Security whipping Haitians as they were coming across the border. I remember seeing that. So now it's September before we had 9/11, and it's September, October. Now, this world separates Jewish holidays all the time, right? And we're approaching Yom Kippur and Hanukkah. You understand? So I'm like connecting dots because we have to be mindful of our energy and not fall for it every single time. There are other ways that we can fight this, and like I always say, financially. You understand? We need to hit this man's, what's his name?
Lowry?
Yes, we need to hit this man in his pockets. He needs to be fired. Like, God forbid if any of us, it doesn't matter what race you are, you say anything against Jewish people, it's anti-Semitism, you're getting canceled, you will lose your business, your house, you lose your shirt. You understand? When we had Chinese people in China kicking out Africans because they thought that's where COVID came from. When the hate crimes started increasing towards Chinese people, we had instantaneous laws that said, hey, it's a hate crime to go against a Chinese person. But it's been 400 years of hate crime towards us, and we see no change. Like, at what point do we say, okay, enough is enough? I call on our Jewish brothers and sisters. You understand? At this point, I'm calling on the Jews. Help us out. You understand? And I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody. I'm just saying for myself, I'm tired of this. Y'all are in position to help us. Y'all have all the money. Y'all own everything. They listen to everything you say. Why doesn't the Jewish community help us, being that they own everything anyway? Like, I'm so serious about this. I'm sick of it. We get shot down by police in our own homes. That troop, Sonia Massey, she got killed the day after my birthday. She in her house. They warn her the boiling water is on the stove. They tell her to go get it. And then she says, what did she say? Jesus? The blood of Jesus? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Well, look. If that wasn't Satan, we don't know what Satan is. Because when you call Satan to his face, he will take you out. So where's the trial for that man? This man, Rich Lowry, he needs to be canceled. And we need to get on the people who run, if he runs a TV show, we need to get on the Jewish people behind him and say, hey, cancel him. The same way I canceled Kanye. Like, enough is enough.
And then you have people like Waka Flocka who go up there and say, I support and I endorse Donald Trump for president. And so at the end of the day, as they say, the people united will never be defeated. And I feel like the more we come together and show people we mean business, we stand on business, they can't bother us. But we got to come together. I mean, I think it's that simple. But thank you so much for your comment, Lorianne. And thank y'all. Again, if you wanted to go and watch the video, I wouldn't, I mean, it's up to you. It is definitely hard to watch, but it is on YouTube. It's on Twitter X if you want to watch it and have these conversations, of course, with your children, because this is not something that we want to accept or get used to, and we need to explain that this is not something that, is common for us to be able to get used to. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dominique Sharpton. And it's just sad to know that that's still happening. We in 2024, and they still calling us the N-word. Help us, Lord. So I have the last Did You Know for tonight. I want to know, how many of you have heard of the name Javion McGee? Ashley, put your hand down. Anyone heard of the name Javion McGee? Black man found dead against a tree with a rope around his neck in North Carolina. But the sheriff department, check this out. The sheriff department said that it's not a lynching. Javion McGee, 21, was found dead against a tree with a rope around his neck in Henderson, North Carolina on Wednesday after making a delivery at the Walmart distribution center. The sheriff says it's not a lynching. The investigation into a Chicago man's death in North Carolina continues as questions and rumors surrounding it grows, especially on social media. Javion McGee, a 21-year-old truck driver from Chicago, was found dead in a rural area off Van Coe Mill Road on Wednesday. Investigators said he was not far from his truck, leaning with his back up against a tree and a rope around his neck. McGee was in Henderson making a delivery to the Walmart center. McGee's family, who lives in Chicago, is upset and demanding answers. They are calling for transparency and more answers from the Vance County Sheriff's Office about what happened. On Friday, Sheriff Curtis Brame told ABC News his office was conducting a death investigation. Brame told ABC 11 that there was no signs of foul play in McGee's death. He said McGee went to a nearby Walmart shortly before he died. That is where he is believed to have, listen to this now, this is where he is believed to have bought the rope that was found around his neck. When ABC 11 asked more about that, Brame declined to elaborate. In response to the social media rumors, the sheriff continued to reiterate that McGee's death was not a lynching. I understand there's 1,000 hits on TikTok accusing the sheriff's office of not being transparent, not providing information to the family, and that is not true, said Brame, the sheriff. There's been information out there that there's a lynching in Vance County. Again, that's not true. There is not a lynching in Vance County. The young man was not dangling from a tree. He was not swinging from a tree. The rope was wrapped around his neck. It was not a noose. There was not a knot in the rope. So therefore, it was not a lynching here in Vance County, again, according to the sheriff. There's been information put out there that is not a lynching. Nearly 1,000 miles away, McGee family was not convinced. A lot of this stuff does not pass the smell test, and that's the problem. The entire family is completely mortified, and they have all hurting, and they cannot believe that something like this has happened to a 21-year-old black man who was just working. They have a lot of questions. Khalid Gay, who lives in Henderson, said, I mean, honestly, I think we have to acknowledge that no, we do live in the South, and there's a deep history of racism and racist acts, and so people are obviously concerned about that. We're going down every avenue, every aspect of the information. We are tracking the company to try and get his GPS reading from his truck. In addition to calling the State Bureau of Investigation, Brame said he has also asked the Attorney General's office to assist in this investigation. The Attorney General office pushed back on that characterization, saying the law enforcement can ask for SBI participation, but only district attorneys can ask the Attorney General to get involved. So, really quickly, because I know the hour is late, anyone want to comment? I really don't have a particular question, but it just seemed very strange that a black man is leaning up against a tree with the rope around his neck, and just because it doesn't have a knot in it, they said it is not a noose and it's not a lynching. So basically, allegedly, they're probably trying to say that he killed his own self. He bought the rope from Walmart on his shift, 21-year-old. He got off at work at Walmart, went and got a rope, sat across next to a tree, and put the rope around his neck. But the sheriffs continued to say, oh no, it's not a knot in the rope. So, it wasn't a lynching. Come up and share your thoughts.
When they take and they bake and paint a swastika on the ground, they call it a hate crime. And they fine the people. So if you found a rope around a black person's neck, whether he was hanging from a tree or sitting against a tree, it's a hate crime. And they can say what they want to say, it's still a hate crime, because if a rope is involved, it's a hate crime. Because if you put a swastika on the ground and it's a hate crime, why can't you say it's a hate crime when it's a rope? Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Come up and share your thoughts. If you think it's a hate crime, you think they're trying to cover it up, what do you think? Tell us your thoughts.
It's so sad that it's still happening, and our people do not want to get involved because they're down south in their homes, and they don't want to get involved because they don't want to lose their benefits or whatever. Like Dr. Reverend Al Sharpton says, when they start going after our benefits, then you want to yell and scream about they hating us or they doing this to us. They're still doing it, and they're going to continue to do it until we get together and march through these blocks of our streets. Just because I don't live in Harlem, I used to, we got to still get it a little better than what we are doing. They're going to keep on doing it.
Thank you so much. Share your thoughts. Do you think it was a lynching? What do you think? And what do you think we can do about it?
According to the article, I don't really know what it is or was or supposed to be, but I know they could use every method possible to understand where this young man was. They want to make an allegation that he bought the rope, then it's on camera in the store that he bought the rope.
Talk about
if that's a true statement. If it's not a lynching, check his neck. Lynchings have rope burns. There's a lot of tangible, available evidence. There's something in terms of these phones. They call them pings. That's one phrase I learned. Wherever he was, see if there were other phones in the area. There's other ways to really check the story out as thoroughly as they're supposed to and do their job regardless of who they have to do the job for. There's a lot more information they need to get and they need to share with the public. But do the job and stop dishing these corny, deficient stories with so many gaps. Do your job to investigate this unusual situation because we really don't know and we really don't want to hear their speculation. Get some hard evidence to understand what happened to this young man.
Thank you so much. Come up, share your thoughts with us, please.
Y'all not gonna like me. So I can't even look at y'all. But if you've been watching the news lately, the swamp is getting clean, okay? And so, it is what it is. The swamp is getting clean, okay? And because black folks, we've been getting kicked in the tail, they cut our breasts off, got us feeding their babies, ripping our hearts out, they doing whatever they want to do to us. So hearing about a lynching ain't nothing new. We so tired and broken down. I came here tonight just to be around black people. Because with them Oyes where I'm living at, when I was the president, when I was TA president, I got people apartments. I got them apartments when they burnt down their own apartment. But now they all coming together. And I had to come here tonight to be around some black folk just to get some energy. And I'm speaking from my heart. If I said Oyes, please forgive me. That is no reflection on the National Action Network and its contributors. That was moi that said that. And so, in conclusion, it's going to be a whole lot of heads rolling. Black, white, pink, yellow, orange, and any other color you want to come up with. Because sin and evil is ugly, and our children are the ones that's suffering. And black people, we really ain't fully the fault. I got to say with this thing here, this brother told me today. This brother said to me today, he said he noticed when he be on the trains and when the people come into his cabs, he said the Spanish people have an energy, they have a twinkling in their eye of unity. They look alive. But when the African was brought here, which are our ancestors, those of us who are African American, they took the twinkle from us. They took it from us. And we got to find a way, as African Americans, we got to find a way to come together. And I'm going to tell you something. Kamala, okay, check yourself. Okay? Because they talk about Trump, and he said Haitian this and this and this, and this and this and this and this. You better be on your knees fasting, praying, or whatever it's going to take.
So,
because people that look like them, when they say they, when they talk about Trump and they say they this and they that, that's Trump talking. That ain't everybody that's Republican talking. So check yourself.
thank you,
I'm going to check
Krista.
myself.
But let me just,
And I don't care who walked out. Because Kamala ain't my savior. Trump ain't my savior.
Krista.
The GPE, none of them is my savior. My Lord and Savior is my savior, honey.
Krista,
You best believe me.
so now let me explain something. And I want to do a disclaimer for everyone in this house of justice. First thing is, Dominique just talked about an article where we were called names, and we are completely outraged, right? We are in, of course, a black organization of which we're trying to make people understand the reason why we fight so hard. So to get up and call any other race, you never know what someone in here is mixed with. You never know what their family background is. So we don't want to be disrespectful, and I get it. Ungawa Black Power, you outrage and, you want to do whatever you want to do, but you got to have the ultimate respect for everyone, because you never know what a person is mixed with. You never know what a person nationality is. And yes, some people are going to be upset because you could probably be talking about their heritage. So we don't want to be disrespectful. We want you to come up on the mic. We want you to come up with some clarity and some respect for whoever's sitting amongst you, because it's not, as you see if you look around, it's not just black people in this building. So let's come up very intelligently and make sure we represent ourselves well when we are saying comments. And if you cannot do that, then I'd rather you stay in your seat and then text it to yourself and figure it out. Next comment, step up.
I apologize for cutting the line, but I just felt it really necessary to kind of come behind Sister, not to clean it up, but to kind of give some understanding to what it is that she was saying. As a multicultural individual of Hispanic descent, African American descent, Caribbean descent, I understand the frustrations of everybody across the diaspora. But I'm here to say that we've got more in common than we do not in common. From our foods, from the way we think, from the way we live, the way we act. The only difference that separates us is our language. But I'm here to tell you, as a multi-ethnic individual who has been in many different settings, whether it's been just around Hispanics, just around Caribbeans, just around African Americans. Yes, we are diverse, but we have many things that are the same. And once we come together and learn each other's cultures and our differences, and most important is to learn each other's language, because the sister was right. When you look at other nationalities and other cultures, there is a little twinkle in their eye, a little wiggle in their hips, a little shake in their shoulders that they identify with, that brings them together and unifies them. And that was taken. Reverend Sharpton says that at the end of every rally, we were robbed of our name, robbed of our nations, robbed of our nationalities, robbed of our language. And so we've got to come together, learn each other's nationality, learn each other's languages, learn each other's differences to see what it is that we have in common. Because at the end of the day, we all bleed the same blood. And at the end of the day, we're all seeking justice. We're all seeking this life and the pursuit of happiness. So I understand the sister's pain, And it's not other ethnicities' faults that they have that unification. African Americans were brought here and we were robbed of that. So no, we don't blame other nationalities, ethnic groups for the coherency and the camaraderie that they have amongst each other. We need to learn from them, and so that we can then implement that within our own communities. And just going back to the article, because I think we kind of skipped past the article, I think we did, right? Now, it just goes back to what we were saying earlier, how they always claim non-compliance, or they'll claim suicide. It's everything but what it is when it comes to our communities. When it comes to the Caucasian community and even the Jewish community, like the brother said, if it's a swastika, it's a hate crime. But when it comes to us, it's everything else but that. Oh, we're drug addicts, we're alcoholics, we're undesirables, we're everything except for child of God when it comes to our lives. And I say that to say, Ahmaud Arbery, I was down in Atlanta for that sentencing. They accused him, I think they said he lynched himself or something like that too. When they hung that man, you know, so this is an epidemic that's in America. This is something that all people of color need to coalesce around. There are disparities between people of color and other ethnic groups and lighter-skinned people, whether it's in the Dominican community, whether it's in the Puerto Rican community, whether it's an Australian community. There is a brown paper bag test within all communities, and a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of division within the Hispanic community, whether it's Dominican, Puerto Rican, what have you. There is a black skin, dark skin versus white skin situation going on. And it goes back to the Europeans in Spain. And we need to do a diversity in a cultural forum as well, so that we can better indulge in the things that define us, that separate us, but at the same time pull us together. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Come on, Lenora. Tell us your thoughts.
Well, it's a situation, when it come down to the Bible, some things are left out the Bible. Just like...
Talk in the mic so we can hear you clearly.
Okay, let me move it up a little bit. Okay. There are some things that's left out in the Bible because the Bible is full, okay? So it can't add other parts to it. So since we know about the puzzles, we got to find the puzzle. The reason why the black men and the black women is going through all this from the ancestors' time up until now is because there's a puzzle that's missing to fix it. Back in the past, I think about 5 years or maybe 10 years ago, there was a flag that was a prejudice flag, okay? We found that flag and we destroyed it. Okay, but it was another piece to that flag that was still existing. Is why this is still happening. And I was watching Pastor Geno Jennings and one day, and it kind of helped me bring it out on what is going on. If we can find that other puzzle that gave us suffering in our history up until some of these days and now that we in, as of today, we suffering still, but God is looking up on us and he's going to heal us. And he's going to take us out of this mess. But he wants us to find that puzzle that go to that flag. It's something to that. And that's what we got to do.
You mean the pieces to the puzzle?
Yes, it's a piece missing.
Okay. Thank you so much for your thoughts.
Hope you find it.
Yes, Lorianne, come and wrap us up, please. Bring us home.
Jason McGee might as well be Sandra Bland. You understand? I find it ironic that they're going out of their way to say that it wasn't a lynching. Why is that your number one priority? Why are you trying to downplay his death? And where's the coroner's report? How did he die? Because the same thing happened with Sandra Bland. It was she died in jail, in police custody. And we still have no answers all this time later. You know, and it happens a lot. I keep finding that they sweep it under the rug, they do a case, but then they don't do the case. Like, people get indicted, but they never get convicted of a crime. I find it ironic that here we are again, a black man from Illinois, working for Walmart, making a delivery in North Carolina, winds up dead. So now I'm asking Walmart what happened. You understand? He was your employee. I'm quite sure he was on duty. So we need to start asking other questions and make other people being held accountable for this. Because if he was making a delivery, then how do we know that all of us are not in jeopardy? How is Walmart protecting us? I mean, the Walton family, they have billions, if not trillions. All right? So again, I'm gonna come up here every time there's one of these cases, and I'm gonna say, hey, let's point some fingers at who could potentially have prevented this situation. Because a black man driving in the South, he was working. You can't say he had a criminal record. You can't say he was a delinquent. You can't say he was resisting arrest. You know, they're quick to find that he went to a Walmart, ironically, or whatever store he went to before, and he bought a rope. Okay, so what are his other, since you were so quick to track that down, what else did he do that day? You understand? Are there security cameras in the Walmart trucks that keep track of the employees? I'm quite sure they have a logistics, because if anything had gone missing on the truck, we would have been finding out what happened. So I think we need to honor ourselves and respect ourselves and ask more questions. I'm not saying that the police killed him. I'm not saying that it was a racial incident. We don't know enough. We can't really say it was a lynching, but we can't say it wasn't. And that's why I'm concerned. Why go out of the way to say it wasn't a lynching?
That's the first thing you say.
You understand? So I think we need more information before we can make any kind of decision, we make any kind of statement. We need more information, and we need to be treated with respect, and Walmart needs to be held accountable for this man's death if he was on company time. Because had he been stealing company time, he would have gotten fired. So he died on company time. What's up with that?
All right, Ernest, 30 seconds.
I find that the police were so fast to say that it wasn't a hate crime. Maybe, just maybe, they all have something to do with it, because police ain't always so innocent, and some of them are prejudiced too.
Thank you. Come on, say two, wrap us up.
10 seconds. Thank you, I'm sorry.
Good.
Good evening, everybody. I want to offer everybody here a gift. And it's the same gift that I have.
Talking to Mike.
Same gift that I have, and that is a black job called voting.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say this, piggybacking off of what Lorianne said. It's very true. He worked for Walmart. If he was a 21-year-old out there just hanging on the street and not doing anything, it'd be a different story, right? He was on the job for a company. So why is it that he gets to North Carolina and all of a sudden nobody's GPS on his truck? You couldn't tell that he went a different way. You couldn't tell that he went a different route. Again, something smells fishy here, and we are the National Action Network, so we're going to stay on top of this. We won't let his death go in vain. So North Carolina, y'all get ready, do some explaining, because for the sheriff to jump out and say, and I guess he probably just did that, so you don't have all of these protests and them shutting down streets, but that's just going to magnify it more, because you jumped out real quick to say it's not a lynching. How do you know, sir? What evidence do you have that tells you it wasn't a lynching? You haven't proven anything. Did you have a camera in the tree? Like, come on, let's not play with us. This is a young black man. Again, a family has to bury someone who should be alive. So we are not having it. We still are going to be the National Action Network. We're going to nationally find out what happened to this young man, and we won't rest until we do. And that's what we do here at the Did You Knows. So again, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you all for being at another wonderful huddle. And we want to thank you for just being woke. And I know you've seen a lot on the news going on. Ashley's going to say some comments, and then I'm going to close this out.
Okay. I'm coming in love. I don't know if some people was asking was I all right, but I apologize. And I know everyone on the line, everyone knows the disclaimer in the beginning of Huddle, that the thoughts of those who are here and those who contribute are not the thoughts of the National Action Network. We know that. But at the same time, this is a safe space. And this is the National Action Network, so we have a founder and leader, and we have a certain standard and tradition that is accepted here. If it is not respected, it is not acceptable. I understand everyone has an opinion. Again, this is a safe space, but if you have other ethnicities here, if we just did a did you know about hate speech and slurs, it is absolutely asinine to welcome the same thing in the commentary section of the next did you know speech. That is asinine. Sorry. So under my leadership, I'm not gonna let the double talk occur. I'm not gonna let, that doesn't make sense. We're not gonna do that here. Also, the young man, it's not a lot of young people that come every week. Young man is Spanish. I understand you talk how you talk, how y'all talk. At the table is how you speak. But if I hear it, it's not acceptable. Reverend Al Sharpton, just in case, I don't know if you were here or whoever was here, the reason why he left Attorney Maddox and Mason at the slave theater years ago when I was a child was because they wouldn't let white people stay in the room. They called them out their names. Reverend Sharpton and maybe like 8 other people walked out. It was hundreds of black black power there. That was not the space for him, and he walked out and started NAN in that tradition. You will not come here and disrespect the tradition that this was started in. So cool. We all say slurs, we all say things that are not correct. But the standard here is that it is not acceptable. If you hear it, say something. Call it out. We have to do better. The N-word, Dominique said it earlier. She was wrong for saying the N-word here earlier. We do not use slurs here. I can't speak for the Saturday Action Rally. I'm speaking for the Name Huddle Monday space. The slurs are not accepted here for any race. So the N-word should not be utilized here as well. Any words against Spanish people, Indians, any minorities, anybody, period, is wrong. For gender, sex, class, whatever. So let's not use that language. And if you hear it, and if you say it on this mic, don't even continue, because the mic should have been no volume. It should have been muted. And I don't want nobody saying, oh, Smoke, or it was wrong, I was treated wrong. No, this is your fair warning. That kind of talk, that language is not allowed on this mic on Monday nights or any of our marches. Yes, there's been marches, there's agents that use that kind of talk. I'm not allowing it here because my father didn't allow it in there when I was growing up, and it's not allowed on Saturdays. So we will not do it here. You can, whoever wants to use it, you can use it. They can pull this from that and just put it on Fox News tomorrow and talk about how we was calling each other names. I'm not with it. And you will not be used for that because we're smarter. We can express our anger and talk about unity and love without offending somebody else in the room. So I dare you to be better, and I challenge you to be better, and our standard is set. Let's respect it, and let's go around and love. Again, Gina, anybody who was in here who was offended, I apologize on Nan Huddle's behalf and on National Network's behalf and on humanity's behalf. We love each other, and this is a safe space, and I apologize that that space was offended this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our director and founder. If everyone can stand up where you are, we're going to dismiss. We'll see you guys next Monday. Please make sure that you are registered for Reverend Sharpton's birthday. Like you said, we are almost at capacity, and we want to make sure that those who come every Monday and support the NAN Youth Huddle get in the building. Do not look for Dominique and Ashley on that day. They will not respond to you. So make sure you get registered. We have the sign-up sheets on the back, on the counter. Make sure it's legible, so when I put it in the system and we start distributing tickets, the NAN Youth Huddle family will get the tickets, of course, first. But if you're not on there, we don't know that you need a ticket. Do not wait outside Lincoln Theater looking for Ashley and Dominique. That's just not going to work it out. And we want to celebrate Reverend Sharpton's birthday with dignity and with love, and we want to celebrate him because God has blessed him to be here 70 years, and everybody can't say they made it to 70. So we thank God for him, and we thank God for each one of you. All hearts and minds are clear. Let us pray. Most gracious and wise God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this space. We thank you for our founder and president. We thank you for our director and founder of NAN Youth Huddle. God, we ask you that every time someone comes in this door, that their minds is renewed, because it's the renewing of the minds that changes the atmosphere in this world. So we ask you to bless the food, bless the hands that prepared it, bless the hands that are serving it. God, continue to help us get back to the house that we left this morning safely and in your way. And we ask you to continue to be our shamir, continue to be our protection each and every day. So much is happening, but we know you can dispatch your angels and they will cover us. And all of your children said, amen. God bless you and get home safe.